What's up, ladies? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little different, and I do feel like we're starting a new chapter here on my channel. I've been kind of, like a newer channel, right? Just starting it earlier this year in 2021, and I just kind of feel like I'm boxing myself in too tight. You know what I mean? Like, I love the fitness and lifestyle stuff, but recently my daughter and I have been doing like a lot of hobbying, and that hobbying is really turning more into what I want my business to be about. So let me explain. To make a super long story short, my daughter and I were hobbying a couple weeks ago, looking for something new to try, and we decided to make some soap, right? Because I don't know about y'all, especially if you're a mom, but we go through like bubble bath and soap like it is nobody's business. I feel like I buy it multiple times a week. So we went to the craft store, we got some stuff, we started making soap, and then we started loving it. And then we were like, well, let's make some bath bombs because those are really cool, right? They started exploding. And then, the scientists in me, I am a science teacher, my daughter and I knew we had to figure out what was going on. So weeks later, here we are, and we've decided to take our little handmade soaps and such and develop an entire product line and open our own luxury spa products website. Now, when you're seeing this video, probably when you're seeing this video, we have not launched it yet. We're still working on a lot of like the packaging and making sure all of our recipes and everything are good to go. So that is the reason for today's video. Even though I haven't launched yet, right? I don't know where my successes are going to be. I don't know what's going to be best for my business in 2 months, in 1 month, in 6 months. But I wanted to make this video because if there's anyone that's thinking of starting a similar business, I thought it might be helpful. So here are the 5 mistakes that I am currently making before even launching my handmade spa product business. First things first, I wish that I would have thoroughly thought out my entire launch product line before I bought anything. And the reason that I say that is because, I knew we wanted to make soap. I knew we wanted to do bath bombs, right? I feel like those are kind of like the standard. If you're doing like a spa product business, then you should absolutely have those things. But I didn't realize how many other things were going to come up that I would love and want to add to my line. And I feel like had I fully understood or fully researched or looked into and those kinds of things, if I had fully done all of that before I decided to start, I would have a better grasp on my first product line, and I wouldn't be going back and forth because I had a new idea and now I need to wait for those supplies to get here and now I need to make them, and I just feel like it keeps pushing the launch back. So really just being super, super clear on what I wanted to launch would have been an absolutely perfect scenario. And mistake number 2 actually really goes hand in hand with what we just talked about. I really think that it would have been better for me, instead of trying to launch wide, to launch deep. And by that, I mean, I'm kind of the way that I'm launching, or when I do launch, the way that I will launch is I'm going to have a couple of this, a couple of this, a couple of this, a couple of this, right? So I'll share that with you once it's all finalized and ready to go. But I plan on offering 4 different categories right off the break, and a couple of cents in each category. And I do feel like that was a mistake. I should have, instead of trying to do a little here, a little here, a little here, a little here, I should have picked 1 or 2 things to really go in deep on. So instead of trying to make 4 things in 2 cents, I should have, in my opinion at least, I should have gone 1 or 2 things, but in 5 or 6 different offerings. And I think that would have been better. But I was trying, I feel like, as with every, business venture, everything that you're really starting, it's hard to kind of figure out where or what the best way to initially show people your business is, because you want them to take you seriously because you have all of these offerings. But at the same time, you're like, well, the funding or the budget or whatever, you know, your case is with finances. It's challenging really to figure out. So I do think I would have been better suited to stick with 2 categories and have like multiple offerings under there. Mistake number 3, when finding suppliers online for supplies, I wish I would have done a better job of reading product descriptions and reviews and knowing what information you're gonna find in there anyway, right? So depending on your suppliers or depending on the websites where you purchase different things, their descriptions are going to look a little bit different. A lot of these websites do a fabulous job of explaining, you know, the contents of the jar, of course, the ingredients. They tell you if it's a good match for a melt and pour soap or a cold press soap. They tell you the safe percentage in different categories of products that you might make. And that would have been super helpful had I paid attention to that. So basically what I did was I found a website and I ordered a couple of things from them. Well, after I ordered those couple of things, it got here super fast. I really enjoyed the product or the supplies that I got from them. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna order a few more fragrances. So I went back and I thought, yes, you know what, I definitely want a fall smell. I don't want a ton of fall specific or seasonally specific things just because the size of my business right now, I don't want to be stuck with, you know, 20 bars of soaps and 17 different fall fragrances. So I picked 2, like a fall scent and then like a pumpkin scent because I am that girl. On the front of the pumpkin scented oil says that it is not safe for soaps, which is devastating to me because not only did I purchase the product, now I, you know, unfortunately have this whole bottle of fragrance oil that I cannot use in the manner that I intended to use it. So could I use it and make some wax melts? Sure, yeah, I could. And it smells so great. Like it smells really, really great. But then I have to go and buy the wax to make and all the other things that go into a wax melt, and then the containers, so short story long, all I had to do was actually read the description, because in the description it tells you whether or not it's safe for soap making or, you know, facial products or whatever, you know, the category is. So that was definitely a big mistake. Now, luckily that happens to be the only fragrance that is unsafe for soap making. So everything else that I have is good to go, which is great. But I do just highly recommend reading that product description, which I feel like sounds absolutely ridiculous, but yeah, read those product descriptions and also read the reviews, because the people that leave reviews leave really, I feel, fair and honest feedback. So I'm gonna preface number 4 with saying I've decided that I want to have soap as a focal point in my business. And through my research, I found that cold pressed soaps have to kind of set for 28, like 4-ish weeks before you can sell them. And I knew that I wanted to kind of hit the ground running a little bit faster than that. So I started working with melt and pour soap, which has its own challenges for sure. But so I'm gonna preface this tip with that information, okay? So right now I'm strictly working with melt and pour soap. I have ordered cold pressed product or supplies that I need, but they have not arrived yet. So number 4, buying things because you like them and they seem inexpensive before actually deciding on your direction. And here's what I mean by that. When I started, I knew that I wanted to offer massaging soap bars. I think that they are adorable. I'm seeing, you know, they're less happening on the market. Most handmade soap is cold processed because, let's be honest, they look super cool. But I knew in my heart that me trying to start with these really complicated cold press soaps was not going to, it was not going to work for me. And I didn't want that level of anxiety before the business even launched. So what I ended up doing was buying massaging silicone molds, or massaging soap silicone molds. I bought rectangular bar molds. Then one night I was feeling froggy and thought, you know what, I'm gonna need some more. So I bought 2 loaf pan silicone molds. Now I'm at the point where I have like 6 different silicone molds, and what am I even doing? That is such a waste. It's very wasteful. And I don't, you know, and now I'm like have all of these things. I'm not gonna return them. I'll figure out a way to use them. But again, had I just really thought about it and weighed all of the options kind of like side by side beforehand, then I wouldn't be in this position with a ton of different molds, you know, like more efficient, I guess. Would have been better. So definitely consider what you want your soaps to look like before you purchase any molds. Same with bath bombs. You can fall into the same trap with bath bombs. There are tons of different molds out there. They're all super cute. So really just consider those things before you start pressing that buy button. And the final mistake that I am currently making and really trying to not continue to make is, yeah, I'm trying to like make things for the first time, but also film them for content, like on social media. So TikToks, and I love TikTok. It's a real problem to try and make things for the first time and film them. And the reason I say that, look, this may not be the way that you feel, and that's totally fine. Everyone has different thoughts and anxiety capacities, and it just is not it for me. I have no problem like filming everything once I have it figured out, but to me, the added stress of trying to film it and it be on camera is just way too much for me to handle. And it makes me like want to sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing, you know? So if you are a high anxiety person like me, then I would recommend like kind of solidifying your processes before you start filming them for content. Now, I will say that filming and then having something like not turn out is really good content, and I feel like people like seeing that, not in like a mean way, but like in a, oh, you know, she's actually a person type of way, you know? Like a lot of people enjoyed my exploding bath bomb video that I had on TikTok. So, you know, keep that in mind as well. So yeah, I would just highly recommend before you start filming and taking pictures and making the TikToks to kind of get your recipes like under control and choose your recipe before you start doing that. I just think, you know, it's less stressful that way. All right, and that's where we are going to leave today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this new style of content. If you are a handmade business or spa product maker, I would love for you to subscribe and leave me a comment saying hi down below. I will see you guys daily over on TikTok or here next week. All right, bye.